Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Wednesday, September 24th, 2014. We're going to take a look at the market as we usually do the last 2 days of trading, and then look at the Shanghai Index and then 5 Chinese stocks: BIDU, CTRP, DANG, Kandi Technologies, and SINA. Okay, so the Dow was up 154 points today. Pretty good whopping rally. The real question mark in my mind is this the real thing, or is this real or Memorex? Is this the real thing, or is this just a bounce, reflex bounce from this move down? Because pretty good move to the downside. From up here, what is that? The high 350 and the low 33.9. We've retraced, what was the 22? We didn't even quite get to 61.8%. That would have been at 229, something like that. I remember calculating that earlier today. So we'll see. The action today was pretty weak in terms of advanced declines, high-low. I think there were less than 600 or around 600 more to the upside advancing stocks than declining stocks today, which is not strong. So it was like 8 to 5. 8 stocks up for every 5 down on a 154-point Dow rally. That is really, really weak. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Okay, same thing. Now, we got this engulfing type action going on here. It's bullish engulfing. So we'll have to see, what does that mean? Typically it's very, very bullish, and it closed back above the 10. Let's see, the New York Composite. We had the bearish engulfing up here, and now we get the bullish, and not quite totally engulfing, but it's pretty doggone close. It's definitely a reversal up bar. Of course, it's only locked in, or what's the word I'm searching for, confirmed, when you get continuation to the upside tomorrow, if that's what we get. And then the NASDAQ came bouncing right off the 4,500 in here, and that's almost literally to the penny, pretty doggone close. So we're getting support in here on the NASDAQ. If this were to break down, it's going to accelerate and break this trend line. But right now it's not, and it could be getting ready to bounce. Russell 2000, pretty negative. 3 closes down below this trend line, which is the trend line from February 2009, the bottom. Okay, so we've now broken this uptrend, and we could be just pulling back to that trend. We'll have to see. Next support down here, of course, there's this intermediate support in here at 1107. But the next real support, I think, is like 1082 on the Russell. Short-term trading index. The 10-day has now moved to 0.958. But we're not below 0.9, so no extreme reading on that, although we're still getting some bullish readings. Volatility, VIX index collapsed today, as you would expect on a 154-point move in the Dow. The high-low index. Now, here's another reason why. Look at this. Okay, Monday, I think this was Monday, yes, where we had this severe breakdown as the lowest reading since December of 2013. And then, what do we get the very next day on another 114 points? About the same reading, okay, because this isn't a cumulative. This is a day-to-day. So this is minus 119. Then today, we're up 114 points on the Dow, and we have 114 more new lows made, 52-week new lows made than new highs for the day. So we're still down here. We're still, substantially negative. That just, when I combine that with the lack of breadth to the upside, really makes me suspicious. Of course, I'm sitting here with calls in Facebook, and hoping that Facebook is going to do the continuation of its trend to the upside. So let's look at let's see. I think the other thing I wanted to mention was the 10-day put to call, equity put to call rate on the options on the Chicago Board of Options Exchange. The 10-day is at 0.62, so we're not at an extreme reading on that. Okay, so that's it on the market for today. We're going to have to see, is this the real thing on the rally, or is it just a reflex bounce? Shanghai Composite. It has a little choppy over the last week, up, down, now up, huge bar today. Monday night, okay, so this, I don't know when this, well, actually, this is their time, okay, so I think the PMI flash index came out sometime during their, well, it would have been early morning, so they continued down that day. I think that's right. I can't remember now, honestly, between my international date lines and all that good stuff. I know they're like 13 hours ahead of Central Time here in the United States. But anyway, here we got two nice moves to the upside after that PMI flash index came out better than what people were expecting. So that took a little bit of pressure off. I know we had this big down day in here after the finance minister was saying, hey, you know, we're not gonna change everything we're doing just because we got one indicator, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So right now, when you look at this, it looks like we've got a third intermediate wave moving to the upside. I still think that, you know, we've got one primary wave 1 coming up, 2 pulling back. I think we're working a third primary wave up, and therefore I think this is 1, 2. We're in this 3. Now, some kind of corrective action is going on here. And because I really think we got 1 and an A, B, C, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here for this intermediate wave. And given that 2 was kind of a very sharp sell-off, I'm expecting more of a flat in here. So this could still just be part of a corrective action. We could be just getting like A and then a 1, 2, 3 B back up to the beginning of A, and then we come back down again. So we need to watch in here. We could be just still chopping sideways on the Shanghai index. All right, let's take a look at BIDU and see what's going on with it. All right, BIDU, I think, has peaked on the, again, we're in the 5th intermediate wave up, okay? And I think we are in now working a corrective minor wave within that 5th wave. It's getting pretty choppy. There's a good chance it may have completed here. We may have done something like an A, B, C, and the power, I mean, we could be kicking off like a 1, 2 here. This could be kicking off a wave, minor wave 5 to the upside. And the reason why I'm thinking that might, if it breaks this trend line on the RSI, but the volume that came in here on these 4 days was pretty big and pretty solid in this little move in here on these bullish bars. So there's a chance that that's what it is, but again, there's enough overlapping corrective action on to sit back and say, well, we could not be out, we might not be out of the mess yet. All right, CTRP. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Okay, back with you. All right, CTRP, I think, has 5 intermediate waves up, and I think we had this ending diagonal wave here on the 5th wave. It has now been pulling back down, but if this is really the 5th intermediate wave, we've got a lot to correct. I mean, so this isn't going to be it if that's the case, because you're talking about correcting 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you know you're going to correct by coming on down. And so we just got to watch to see what kind of corrective action develops in here. Let's just look at support and resistance. It looks like potential support coming in here at this low, which was 58.27. We are gaining a little bit of bullish divergence in here on some of the indicators, not on the RSI, but on DI minus and the demand index. So 2 out of 3. You know, that may just simply signal we're going to get a little bit of a, you know, pullback rally. The next support, if it were to break this 58 area, is going to be down here around 55. And then you got the 233-day moving average down here. So we're trading down below the 55. You've got the 21 slanted down. You got the 10 slanted down. So it's right now no specific play except the fact that I think we're in some kind of corrective wave. We're going to have to watch to see how it plays out. Dang, e-commerce, dang. Okay, now this is one that's interesting because I really thought we had this primary wave 1 up here. I thought this was primary wave 2, and that we were then doing a 1-2 1-2. I don't like this 1-2 because it just doesn't seem like that should be what it the way the wave count ought to unfold. And the fact that it broke this trend line in here between what is potentially 1 and 2, this is almost more overlapping to me. So what I'm thinking, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the old count, I'm thinking that what this is now an A, B, C, that we are still doing some kind of corrective action in here. Now, that could change if we start to get a good rally. And I notice we got to close above the 10. Let me blow this up a little bit. But you cannot bet on just one close above the 10, and you've got to be a little more cautious. We'll see what the indicators are doing. We are getting some bullish divergence in here on the RSI. We are not on the DI minus, and we are on demand index. So again, 2 out of 3. I always love to have 3 out of 3. 2 out of 3 is not bad. So we'll have to watch to see, do we get a second close above this in a row? And then see, you can still get it like in here in the downtrend. You see how I got 2 closes above the 10 here. Now what I've been noticing and what I've started looking for is if I get 2 closes above 10, does the high of those 2 days get taken out? And this did not. Okay. And so like here, you got 2 closes above the 10 consecutive, and then they took out the high of those 2 closes, and then the move continued on. So that's what I'm looking for to see, does it do that? But right now I'm starting to think that this is more of being A, and a lot of it is because this overlapping in here. This doesn't look like a clear 5-wave move. I mean, even in here it doesn't look like a clear 5-wave move. I can try to count this as 1, but it doesn't give me a high degree of confidence the way this looks, that this is really a 5-wave little move in here. It looks more like kind of that overlapping zigzaggy type stuff. So I'm going to get rid of this 2. I'm going to call this A. I'm going to get rid of the 1. I'm going to get rid of this 2 here. And I'm going to keep these red numbers. The red is what I'm inserting in as the new count. And I'm going to get rid of this 1 up here. So I think what we've got is a 1, A, B, C, 2, and then a 3, third wave up here, that's B. Okay. And now we've come down, could be some kind of a zigzag. I think we may have more, although you never know when it's going to shorten or when it's going to lengthen or come back down to A or go further beyond A. You just have to keep watching the wave count. The fact that it broke this trend line, and the way the moving averages are aligning to the downside, we're just going to have to watch to see, does it turn? And again, another way to get a higher degree of confidence is to wait till the moving averages cross. To kind of give you a chance that, okay, well, maybe that down leg is over with. So, kind of like what it did in here. All right, that's my best thinking on DANG at the moment. And again, I am shying away from, I'll continue to start doing, broadening out the analysis on some of these Chinese stocks. But I am hesitating to be trading options on anything less than $15 a share, and I prefer 20, but I'll take above 15. The next one we'll take a look at is Kandi Technologies. Okay, Kandi is a similar type thing. I was beginning to think the same thing over here. I thought maybe this was a primary 4 and that we were trying to do a 5th wave. I am now thinking that this is a lot more of corrective action going on. And especially when I looked at this wave more, the fact that with this overlapping, this is overlapping in here, chopping, overlapping, you know, all the way up and through here. The only time it gets clear is right up in this last little section of the move. So that just doesn't strike me as, I mean, look at this wave here that's impulsive, that type of action. And you can see even in this impulsive, it's a little bit like it, but not, my comfort level is just not there. So I'm going to stay with this as an A, B, and that we're working a C, and that we definitely look like we're getting this zigzag playing out. It's actually continuing to go further down than I thought it might. So we've just got to, if this is truly a flat, if this is A and B, it's probably better if I use a little magic marker. I mean, if this is A and we got B, notice how B always comes back to the beginning in a flat to the beginning of A and sometimes goes beyond it. You know, then we're working a C, and a lot of times C will come right back down to the end of A. All right, so if that's the case, then I'd be looking down here around 11. So we'll just, again, all you can do is watch to see what wave count continues to unfold to the downside. There's no doubt that we are, you know, in the downdraft mode right now. Okay, the last one we're going to take a look at is SINA, and its picture isn't a whole lot better, honestly. A whole lot of choppiness going back and forth, as I talked about once before. I thought we had a big corrective move laid out here, and we may still have that. I just have a hard time seeing that this is any kind of impulsive wave one. Okay, so this corrective wave may not be over, and we'll have to reevaluate if it breaks this low in here. And so what I've got is, so my thinking is, and here's another point. Let's look at the 50-day moving average of volume. It's 1.8 million shares. So the 50-day moving average of the volume has been dropping off on SINA. So the other thing, that Elliott waves work best in high volume, high liquidity, a lot of participation stocks. Okay. You look for them, I'll look for them on almost any type of stocks, but where you're going to get the best picture and the best scenario is where you have a better picture of mass psychology playing out in a stock. That's why it's always better in an indice, and it's always better in a much more highly liquid stock. And we'll have to just see, how this plays out down in here. So let's focus on the support and resistance. So the support that's we've got in here is at 42.40 low. All right. So it hasn't broken that. It's gotten really tight in here. What's the average true range? Well, it's still 1.33. So it's actually kind of surprising. Let me blow this up a little bit. So it's still 1.33 on the average true range. And then this support line that I've got, this dotted line, this is from the December 2012 low. Okay, so if this looks like a support range, if this continues to move down to the downside. Other than that, I don't have any reading on this. You can start to look at trend lines and say if this continues to move up, does it break a trend line? You can put a trend line in here across the top here and watch to see if that starts to break out and break that trend line. Then we'd have something to start talking about and make some progress. So, all right, that's it for tonight on SINA and on the Chinese stocks. Tomorrow I will be back. I'm going to take a look at on an update video on RACS, Best Buy, and GameStop, I think it is, GME. So I'll take a look at those three tomorrow, and then on Friday, I can't remember what I'm looking at on Friday. It's still Wednesday. And I'll be back on Saturday with market updates. So I hope have a great Thursday, Friday, everyone. And I haven't looked at all the stocks, by the way, yet this evening. So if I see something in terms of an attractive trade idea, I will put it out there, and I definitely have it out there by, say, 7:30 in the morning Central Time for sure. So All right, we'll be back, talk with you on Saturday and the videos in between. Have a great one, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed.